So this is a very important time for elite athletes who are coming out of lockdown, who have an obvious desire to return to normal training. But we still have very limited information on the return to competition. So with athletes having a lengthy period of limited, reduced, or at the very least interrupted training, we thought it would be the perfect time to take a quick look at 5 top tips for elite athletes returning to training. Don't go straight back into regular training. What we prescribe is a gradual return to pre-COVID-19 training levels as an essential part of training. There is some sports medicine research that suggests 10% a weekly increase is the best way to avoid injury. While we heard from the Experts in Sport podcast from Professor Letty Bishop, suggesting that numbers as low as 5% increase a week have been suggested to limit the impact on the immune system. So, message is, go slowly. Increase only gradually. Take small steps in your training. And remember, we don't know when you're going to start competing again. So, don't peak too soon. Next is number 2, and that is planning a structured progression. You will all have a very detailed training diary from previous years, and in the current situation, it's even more important to keep a detailed training diary of your resting and eating and recovery habits. Think about your most intense training sessions and doing those after days that you've rested, so that you limit the impact of any stress on the body and reduce the chances of injuring yourself during these harder sessions. It's unlikely you will have managed to train as intensely as you would have done normally, so returning to normal high intensity is going to be a bigger risk than it was. Next is tip number 3, and that's relating to the intensity and the volume of your training. And the point is, we increase one or the other, but not both. There's a huge debate in the scientific literature revolving around which is the most important aspect of your training to increase, but there is consensus that you should not do both at the same time. There's so much variation between sports that specific advice is just not possible. But as always, we suggest you work closely with your coaches and medical team, looking from the perspective of only increasing one aspect of your training at a time. Tip number 4 is that we suggest you look at short, medium and long-term plans, but remember they can be flexible. You could focus on your competition return as a target rather than simply getting back into full-time training. This might be a good time to think of your general mental health and focus upon what you find enjoyable doing. It's a pretty tough period for most people, especially elite athletes, so doing things you enjoy and doing the sport for enjoyment is always worth thinking about. Remember, this is a time like no other, where you have a break in competition that gives you a unique opportunity to focus on areas that could be your weakest. It could be an injury risk. It could be a recovery from previous injuries. This time could be used to focus on improving your overall robustness. Alternatively, this could be a good period for more individual skill-based sessions. There really is no right or wrong answer at the moment. So, lastly, tip number 5. This is to do with monitoring how you feel. This is linked into the idea of your training diary, but also to the idea of monitoring symptoms. As we've said, we don't know how this is going to work, other than we do know that elite athletes are going to be at greater risk coming out of lockdown, essentially because you're working at the highest level of performance and that you're pushing your bodies to the limit. So, be careful. You've spent many years of hard work getting to this level. Don't risk what you've already achieved. Keep monitoring and keep recording. We hope you found these tips useful, and for more support, we've compiled some resources that you can find on the Loughborough University Experts in Sport website.